Something massive is happening around XRP right now, and most people still do not understand it. While the public keeps watching short term price moves, large investors and financial insiders are quietly focusing on something much bigger called the XRP reprice. This is not just about XRP moving a few dollars higher. The real discussion is about how global payments, banking systems, liquidity, and digital assets could completely change over the next few years. At the same time, voices like Jake Claver are pushing one important message that many holders ignore, and that is mindset. Because according to many XRP supporters, the people who stay patient during uncertainty could be the ones who benefit the most if Ripple's long term vision becomes reality. But what exactly is the XRP reprice theory? Why are people talking about mindset so much? And what could this mean for the future of Ripple and XRP? Let's break it all down step by step. The XRP community has entered another intense phase where discussions about price, adoption, regulation, and institutional use are becoming stronger every single day. Across social media, financial podcasts, and crypto communities, one phrase keeps appearing over and over again, and that phrase is XRP reprice. For many people outside the XRP space, this sounds confusing or even unrealistic. But inside the community, supporters believe the term represents something much larger than a normal market pump. They believe XRP could eventually move into a completely different valuation level if Ripple's technology becomes deeply connected to the future of global finance. To understand this conversation properly, it is important to first understand what XRP was originally designed to do. Unlike many cryptocurrencies that mainly focus on speculation or meme driven attention, XRP was created to solve a financial problem. The idea behind XRP was to help move money across borders faster, cheaper, and more efficiently than traditional banking systems. Right now, sending money internationally can take several days, involve high fees, and require multiple banking intermediaries. Ripple's system aimed to reduce these delays and simplify cross border transactions. This is where many XRP supporters believe the long term value comes from. They argue that if financial institutions, payment providers, and banks begin using XRP at large scale, then demand for the asset could increase dramatically. According to this theory, the current price may not reflect what supporters believe XRP could eventually become if worldwide utility expands. That belief is what fuels the entire reprice discussion. At the same time, the XRP community is also heavily focused on Ripple's partnerships and global expansion efforts. Over the years, Ripple has worked with payment companies, fintech firms, and banking related organizations in different countries. Every new partnership announcement creates fresh excitement because supporters believe these developments slowly build the foundation for future adoption. Many investors think the market still underestimates Ripple's position in the financial technology space. Another major factor behind the XRP reprice conversation is regulation. The legal battle between Ripple and the SEC became one of the most important events in crypto history. For years, uncertainty around the lawsuit affected XRP's growth, exchange listings, and investor confidence. However, many XRP holders believed Ripple's partial legal victories helped strengthen confidence in the project's future. Inside the community, some investors now believe clearer regulation could eventually open the door for larger institutional participation. This is also where mindset becomes extremely important. Many people enter crypto expecting instant wealth and overnight success, but long term XRP supporters often speak about patience, emotional control, and conviction. They believe holding through fear, negative headlines, and market crashes is part of the journey. According to people like Jake Claver, mindset may become the difference between those who panic during volatility and those who stay focused on long term possibilities. One thing that makes XRP different from many crypto communities is the strong belief in a future financial transformation. Many supporters do not simply view XRP as another digital coin. Instead, they see it as a bridge asset that could potentially connect traditional finance with blockchain based settlement systems. Whether someone agrees with this theory or not, it is clear that belief itself has become one of the strongest forces driving the XRP community forward. At the same time, critics continue to challenge these ideas. Some analysts argue that expectations around XRP are too aggressive and unrealistic. Others believe global banking systems may adopt blockchain technology without needing XRP itself. This debate continues every single day online. But regardless of criticism, the XRP community remains one of the most dedicated groups in the crypto world. As more discussions continue around tokenization, central bank digital currencies, and blockchain based payments, XRP supporters believe the market may eventually start paying closer attention to Ripple's infrastructure. And if that happens, many believe the current XRP price could look very small compared to future valuations imagined by long term holders. One of the biggest reasons the XRP community remains so confident during difficult market conditions is because many supporters believe the world financial system is slowly moving toward a major transformation. This belief is at the center of the XRP reprice discussion. According to many long term holders, XRP is not being viewed correctly by the market today because most traders still focus only on short term charts, daily price action, and emotional reactions. But supporters argue that the real value conversation is connected to utility, liquidity, and global financial infrastructure. When people inside the XRP community talk about a reprice, they are usually referring to a future moment where XRP's value changes rapidly because the market suddenly recognizes its potential role in worldwide transactions. Some believe this could happen gradually over years, while others think it may happen during a major financial shift involving digital assets and banking systems. This theory has become one of the most talked about ideas among XRP investors. A major reason behind this belief comes from Ripple's focus on cross border payments. Right now, moving money internationally is still slow and expensive in many parts of the world. Financial institutions often rely on systems that were built decades ago. Transactions can take several days to settle, especially when multiple currencies and banking intermediaries are involved. Ripple supporters believe blockchain technology can improve this process significantly, and they see XRP as a possible bridge asset that helps provide instant liquidity between different currencies. This is where mindset enters the conversation again. According to many XRP commentators, including Jake Claver, most people struggle because they think too small and react emotionally to every market movement. Every time XRP experiences a correction, social media becomes filled with fear, frustration, and negativity. Some investors start doubting their positions while others sell during panic. But long term believers argue that emotional investing is one of the biggest reasons why many people fail in crypto markets. The mindset message being pushed by many XRP supporters is simple. They believe investors should focus on long term developments instead of daily volatility. In their view, large financial changes do not happen overnight. Adoption takes time, regulations evolve slowly, and institutional systems move carefully before implementing new technologies. Because of this, many XRP holders believe patience is one of the most valuable qualities an investor can have. At the same time, another important factor continues to fuel excitement around XRP, and that is institutional attention toward blockchain technology. Around the world, governments, banks, and financial companies are increasingly exploring digital assets, tokenization, and faster payment solutions. Central bank digital currencies are also becoming part of the conversation in many countries. XRP supporters believe these developments show that traditional finance is slowly entering the blockchain era. For many holders, the idea is not simply about one coin increasing in value. Instead, they believe the entire financial system may eventually become more digital, more connected, and more dependent on blockchain based settlement solutions. If Ripple's infrastructure becomes part of that transition, supporters think XRP could benefit in a major way. This belief is what keeps many investors committed even during periods of uncertainty. Another interesting part of the XRP community is how strongly they focus on mental discipline. Many supporters talk about ignoring fear campaigns, negative media headlines, and market manipulation theories. They believe weak emotions can cause investors to miss life changing opportunities. This is why discussions around mindset have become almost as important as discussions around price itself. At the same time, critics continue questioning these expectations. Some analysts argue that XRP supporters are creating unrealistic price targets without enough evidence. Others believe competition from different blockchain projects could limit XRP's future growth. There are also concerns about how governments and regulators may treat cryptocurrencies in the future. These concerns are valid and they remain part of the larger crypto discussion. But despite all of this, XRP continues holding one of the most loyal communities in the digital asset space. Every legal update, partnership rumor, or financial technology development quickly becomes part of the bigger narrative surrounding Ripple and XRP. Supporters believe the market still does not fully understand what Ripple has been building behind the scenes for years. For them, the reprice conversation is not only about price predictions, it is about preparation. They believe the people who stay informed, patient, and emotionally strong during uncertain times may eventually benefit if Ripple's long term vision becomes reality. And whether someone fully agrees with these ideas or not, one thing is certain: the XRP mindset movement continues growing stronger across the crypto world every single day. As the conversation around XRP continues growing, many investors are beginning to focus on something even bigger than short term price movements, and that is the possibility of a complete shift in how value is transferred around the world. Inside the XRP community, supporters often talk about liquidity, financial efficiency, and global settlement systems as the real reasons why they remain optimistic about the future. They believe XRP was built for a purpose that goes far beyond retail speculation, and this belief has become a major part of the reprice narrative. One of the strongest arguments from XRP supporters is connected to speed and cost. Traditional banking systems can still be very slow when transferring money internationally. Businesses and financial institutions sometimes wait days for settlements to complete, especially when different currencies are involved. During this process, fees can increase and liquidity can become trapped between institutions. Ripple's supporters believe blockchain technology can solve many of these problems, and they see XRP as a possible tool that could help provide fast liquidity across borders. This is why many people in the XRP space continue paying close attention to Ripple's partnerships, payment technologies, and global expansion efforts. Every time Ripple enters a new market or works with another financial company, excitement inside the community increases. Supporters believe these partnerships are small pieces of a much larger plan that could eventually connect financial systems through blockchain based technology. At the same time, the XRP community has also become heavily focused on the psychology of investing. According to many long term holders, most people lose opportunities because they constantly react to fear and temporary emotions. Crypto markets are extremely emotional environments where prices can rise and fall rapidly within short periods. During bullish moments, people become overconfident. During corrections, panic spreads quickly. Many XRP supporters believe controlling emotions is one of the most important skills for surviving these cycles. This is one reason why commentators like Jake Claver continue speaking about mindset. The message is not simply about believing XRP will rise forever. Instead, it is about understanding patience, discipline, and long term thinking. Many investors expect immediate results after buying an asset, but supporters argue that financial transformations often take years to fully develop. According to this view, people who constantly chase fast profits may struggle to stay committed during periods of uncertainty. Another major factor driving XRP discussions is the idea of institutional adoption. Around the world, large financial organizations are increasingly exploring blockchain technology. Governments are studying digital currencies, payment systems are evolving, and tokenization is becoming a larger topic inside traditional finance. XRP supporters believe these developments are signs that the financial system is preparing for modernization. For many holders, this creates a powerful theory. They believe that if digital asset infrastructure becomes deeply integrated into banking and payments, then assets connected to utility and liquidity could eventually become far more valuable than they are today. This is why some investors believe XRP is currently undervalued compared to its possible long term role in global finance. At the same time, supporters also believe many people still misunderstand Ripple and XRP. Critics often argue that banks may use Ripple's technology without actually using XRP itself. Others believe competition from stablecoins or central bank digital currencies could reduce XRP's importance in the future. These concerns continue to create debate across the crypto industry, but XRP supporters respond by pointing to Ripple's long term focus on liquidity and cross border settlement. They argue that if XRP successfully becomes a bridge asset between different currencies, then demand could increase significantly over time. Whether this eventually happens or not remains uncertain, but the belief itself continues attracting investors who see XRP as more than just another cryptocurrency. The legal battle involving Ripple also continues influencing the community mindset. For years, uncertainty surrounding regulation affected XRP's price and public image. However, many holders believe Ripple's progress in court helped strengthen confidence in the project's survival and long term potential. Some investors now think clearer regulations could eventually encourage larger institutional players to enter the market. Another important part of the XRP community is the belief that wealth opportunities often appear during periods of doubt. Many supporters argue that history shows people usually ignore disruptive technologies in their early stages. According to this mindset, the market may not fully understand XRP yet because the broader financial transition is still developing. Because of this, many long term holders continue focusing less on daily price swings and more on future possibilities. They believe patience, research, and emotional control may become extremely important if blockchain technology continues expanding into mainstream finance. And while nobody can predict the future with certainty, one thing is clear: the conversation around Ripple, XRP, and the idea of a global financial transformation is becoming bigger every single year. As the XRP conversation becomes larger across the crypto industry, more investors are starting to realize that the biggest battle may not be happening on price charts alone. According to many long term XRP supporters, the real battle is happening in the minds of investors. Fear, impatience, and emotional reactions continue controlling large parts of the crypto market, while disciplined investors try to focus on long term developments instead of daily noise. This is why the mindset discussion around Ripple and XRP has become such an important topic. Many people enter crypto markets hoping for instant success. They watch social media influencers posting massive price predictions and believe wealth will come quickly. But when markets become volatile, emotions change fast. Fear spreads across social platforms. Negative headlines dominate conversations, and many investors begin doubting their decisions. XRP holders have experienced this cycle repeatedly over the years, especially during legal uncertainty and market corrections. Supporters like Jake Claver often explain that patience may become one of the most valuable advantages an investor can have. According to this mindset, people who constantly panic during uncertainty may miss opportunities that take years to fully develop. The idea is not blind belief or emotional hype. Instead, it is about staying informed, understanding risk, and remaining focused on long term possibilities without becoming controlled by fear. One reason this mindset became so important within the XRP community is because XRP has experienced both extreme excitement and extreme criticism throughout its history. During bullish periods, supporters often speak about massive future potential and global financial adoption. But during bearish periods, critics question whether XRP can truly achieve the level of utility many investors expect. This creates an emotional environment where confidence can rise and fall very quickly. At the same time, Ripple continues operating in a financial world that is already changing rapidly. Digital payments are growing globally, financial technology is evolving faster than ever, and governments are becoming increasingly interested in blockchain systems. Tokenization, stablecoins, and central bank digital currencies are no longer small experimental ideas. They are becoming serious topics inside traditional finance discussions. XRP supporters believe these changes could eventually benefit Ripple's ecosystem. They argue that the future financial system may require faster settlement systems, improved liquidity solutions, and blockchain based infrastructure. In their view, XRP was designed specifically for these types of use cases. This belief is one of the biggest reasons why the community remains highly active even during uncertain market conditions. Another interesting part of the XRP reprice theory is the belief that traditional valuation methods may not fully apply if XRP achieves large scale utility. Some supporters argue that current market prices mainly reflect speculation rather than real utility demand. According to this theory, if XRP eventually becomes deeply connected to international liquidity flows, then its valuation model could change dramatically compared to today's crypto market structure. Of course, this idea remains highly debated. Critics continue warning that many reprice theories are too optimistic and lack clear evidence. Some analysts believe banks will continue using existing systems instead of depending heavily on public digital assets. Others think competition between blockchain projects could reduce XRP's influence over time. These concerns remain important because the future of digital finance is still developing. However, XRP supporters believe most people are only looking at the surface level of what is happening globally. They argue that behind the scenes, financial systems are preparing for modernization at a pace many retail investors still do not fully understand. Every discussion about blockchain adoption, tokenized assets, or faster settlement technology strengthens their belief that the future may look very different from today's system. This is also why mindset becomes connected to opportunity in the eyes of many XRP holders. They believe emotional weakness causes investors to quit too early during periods of uncertainty. According to this view, people who stay patient during fear driven markets may eventually benefit if adoption grows over the coming years. At the same time, experienced investors inside the community also remind people about risk management. Even strong XRP supporters understand that no investment is guaranteed. Crypto markets remain highly volatile and unpredictable. Prices can move sharply in both directions, regulations can change suddenly, and market sentiment can shift without warning. Because of this, many responsible voices encourage investors to stay realistic while still remaining optimistic about long term innovation. As Ripple continues expanding its presence in the financial technology space, XRP remains one of the most closely watched digital assets in the world. Whether the reprice theory eventually becomes reality or not, the conversation itself continues attracting attention from investors who believe the next phase of global finance could already be starting. And for many supporters, the most important factor moving forward may not simply be price. It may be the ability to stay patient and focused while the larger transformation slowly unfolds. As we look at the bigger picture surrounding Ripple and XRP, one thing becomes very clear. The conversation is no longer only about cryptocurrency trading. It has evolved into a discussion about the future of finance, digital payments, liquidity, and how global systems may change over the next decade. This is exactly why the XRP community remains one of the strongest and most committed groups in the crypto world today. For many supporters, the XRP reprice theory represents more than just a prediction about price. It represents the belief that the current financial system is slowly entering a new digital era. They believe blockchain technology could eventually transform how value moves across countries, businesses, and institutions. According to this view, assets connected to real utility may become extremely important if financial systems continue modernizing over time. Throughout this discussion, one major theme keeps appearing again and again, and that theme is mindset. According to commentators like Jake Claver and many long term XRP holders, emotional discipline may become one of the biggest factors separating successful investors from unsuccessful ones. Markets constantly test people through fear, uncertainty, and volatility. Prices rise quickly, then suddenly fall. Headlines create excitement one day and panic the next. In this environment, many investors struggle to stay focused.